Evich Lewis, Jonathan Joseph, Greg Manx, Deshaun Gibson, and Titus Howard. For the Jacksonville Jaguars on the injury report, we have DJ Chark, who picked up a quad injury. Josh Lambo, the place kicker, is nursing the inner thigh injury as well. DJ Hayden has a shoulder. Ronnie Harrison, his neck. Marquise Lee was placed on injured reserve. Dede Westbrook has a shoulder injury as well. So Jacksonville probably should have made a move for a wide receiver maybe. They're pretty banged up.
Yeah, I saw Marquise Lee got put on IR, and DJ Chark happens to be Minshew's favorite target. So
absolutely.
That only bodes better for our pick of the Houston Texans. All right, moving to the 1 o'clock Eastern games, and we will start with the Washington Redskins, 1-7 against the Buffalo Bills, who are 5-2. Washington now in 30th in our power rankings. The Bills fall to 15th. The Bills favored by 9.5 in this game. They have won 6 of their past 7, but did lose the last time these two teams played back in 2015. I've got nothing to say other than the Bills got hit in the mouth by Philly last week. Hopefully it was a wake-up call because the Washington team is just plain awful. We are both taking the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to lock this game, but I figured this would be the one where, depending on his health, that Adrian Peterson bounces back and runs roughshod over the Bills defense like the Eagles run game did last week. Not 100% sure as far as picking them. Good news for Washington, though, aside from Trent Williams reporting to camp, but Washington fans all know that's for not. Darius Geis has been designated to return from injured reserve, so he is practicing. Case Keenum is still questionable in a concussion protocol. Vernon Davis, Chris Thompson, Wes Martin, and DeShazer Everett are also listed as questionable. For the Buffalo Bills, Maurice Alexander, Corey Thompson, Kurt Coleman, Cody Ford, and Kevin Johnson are all listed as questionable as well. I think the Bills probably bounce back. This one might be close, depending on how they neutralize Washington's offense, but both of these defenses do play well.
Offensively, the Bills weren't able to do much, though, against the Eagles either. An Eagles team that we've talked about, the secondary is non-existent.
Yeah, and that secondary got a boost last week as all 4 members, Jenkins, McLeod, Darby, and Mills, were together for the first time in what seems like the Super Bowl run. I don't know if it made a difference, but the Bills' passing offense is not something that threatens you in any way, shape, or form. It's run, pass when necessary, or pass to shake things up to keep 8 men out of the box, just to keep defenses honest. But it's not the passing game that scares you in any way, shape, or form to be like, oh, great, the Bills are going to throw the ball. We should be worried. This wasn't a good test for Philadelphia last week as far as facing a passing attack. It probably won't be much of a challenge for Washington's, secondary this week either.
Neil will probably be returning to the podcast next week. However, he did write in, and I feel like this is a special occasion where I need to bust out the old old voice.
Don't do it. No Sean Connery. Please, no.
Here he comes.
Oh, God.
Football, bloody hell. Offensively, Case Keenum may return to action following being in the old Concordat since landing on his bounce against Minnesota. I have no idea what any of that meant.
Oh, gosh.
If he doesn't make it, Haskell will get his first start. Going against the Bills and their third-ranked defense, we'll try to copy the Eagles and run the ball hard, but our 30th-ranked offense may struggle. We average 84 yards a game rushing. We'll need double that to Sunday to stand a chance. Scary Terry will be looking to add to his 458 receiving yards and 16.4 yards per catch average. Defensively, Allen, Payne, and Ioannidis still look great as ever. However, Kerrigan and Sweat have been anonymous all year, amassing only 3.5 sacks between them. Well, we know what's going on with Montez Sweat. Old Spice is keeping him.
You had to bring that up.
Well, I mean, they're eliminating Sweat from the NFL. I mean, that's what his problem has been.
Okay, so it's Old Spice's fault. Got it.
It is Old Spice's fault. Who can be a difference-making big play guy? Step up Q Dunbar, who is slowly becoming a number one cornerback. He's very good. Buffalo is all about the run game, though, and this is a massive test for a D, which has struggled in recent years to stop anything. Washington is worst in the league on third down defense. Josh Allen will find plenty of opportunity to scamper through the Redskins' defense. Our season is done. Washington is in the race for Chase Young, so a tidy we lost beckons. Redskins 30, 20 for the Bills. Hashtag HTTR. Chase Young. Interesting. What position did he play?
It's not quarterback.
No, he's not quarterback. That's the first I've actually heard old Neil Kiper Jr. mention an actual player, not just picks. He's a defensive end for Ohio State. My goodness, it seems like the San Francisco 49ers plan of acquiring first-round defensive line talent. How many first-rounders do you need on that defensive line? All right.
You can never have enough, Jay. Look at Pittsburgh.
All right, there you go. The Chicago Bears are 3-4 and really letting me and everyone else down. The Philadelphia Eagles 4-4. They moved up to 13th in the power rankings. The Bears remain at 18. What's that?
Yeah, 13 is too high in the power rankings for us.
Oh. Well, the Eagles are also favored by 5 points. Carson Wentz has a touchdown pass in 11 consecutive games. That's tied for the longest active streak in the NFL with Russell Wilson. Can someone tell me where Mitch Trubisky has gone? Are the Trubisky truthers right? I can't believe it. I really don't want to believe it, but it seems they might be, and it just may be time for me to dump my boyfriends for my side-eye team. I don't know. I think I hear Kenny Loggins once again. Meet me halfway across the sky.
No. Bon Jovi was a better choice.
I'm going with the Eagles. If the Bears do lose this game, I have a strong feeling that we'll be playing breakup songs next week. Listen, when the side eye is undefeated and the boyfriends have a losing record and they've got 2 more losses than wins, that's going to be tough for me to handle. That's just going to be honest. Just going to be right honest and open with you.
Look, the division right now is pretty much a 2-team race. Chicago, Detroit have fallen by the wayside. Minnesota and Green Bay are head and shoulders above them respectively. And I've said it ever since he was injured. He is not fully healthy from that separated shoulder, and it shows. There were throws last week in a game that they had no business losing, which also came down to poor coaching at the end, that he just could not make. That out route to the wide side of the field, he couldn't hit it. The digs up the seams, the corner routes, he was errant on all of those. Unless he lollipopped it in the air and gave the receiver a chance, it just didn't look right. Unfortunately, Trubisky is not on the injury report, even though I still believe he's still injured. Only Bear showing up this week is Isaiah Irving, linebacker, who was forced out of last week's game with a quadriceps. For the Eagles, I don't know who's coming back this week, but everyone who's not played in the last 3 is still on the injury report. Jackson with his abdomen, Sproles, Maddox, Jernigan. Nigel Bradham shows up this week as doubtful. Jason Peters and Miles Sanders has a shoulder injury. So between Jackson, Sproles, Jernigan, and Peters, I don't expect any of those 4 to play this week. Again, even though 3 of them are listed as questionable. It would help if Peters was back, but if he's not back, expect the same game plan from Buffalo, where we just pretty much pound the ball against the Bears front, keep the pass rush honest and hesitant, neutralize as best as possible Khalil Mack and the rest of those guys in the front 7, and then maybe open up some things in play action. But we'll see how closely to the vest Doug Peterson plays this, because sometimes he can get a little pass happy trying to establish Carson Wentz, and we need some speed on the outside somewhere. Shocked they didn't make a trade for a wide receiver, though.
I'm sure that Jordan Howard is licking his chops to show his old team what a mistake they made by trading him away.
Oh, Absolutely. And, I wish he had one more carry because he was only 4 yards short of 100 last week. He'll be looking to get that 100 this week.
You were going with the Bears, though. Is that just the reverse psychology thing?
Yeah, it is to some extent because every time I believe in this team is turning the corner, they do something that baffles the imagination. And it's like, why would you do that? So they finally decided to stick with the run game. They finally decided to make Jordan Howard the lead back. Things have worked out over the last week. Just too bad they couldn't make these changes 3 weeks ago.
The Tennessee Titans are 4-4, and they are 20th in our power rankings. The Carolina Panthers 4-3 and are 14th in our power rankings. They are also favored by 4 points in this game. James, as much as I hate to say this, you might have been right, especially about pumping the brakes on Kyle Allen, the Play 60 kid. Because despite his win percentage, he only has an 88.5 rating on the season. Coupled with the loss from last week, I think the pretty good defense of the Titans, who only allow 16.9 points per game, can pull off an upset because they are 4-point underdogs. And now we're back to asking, when's Cam back again? And by the way, before everyone jumps on the Ryan Tannehill train, while he threw 3 touchdowns last week, it was while he was throwing for less than 200 yards. His completion percentage is high because he's playing a short game. I'm taking the Titans. I just wish they were still playing Mariota. And if they aren't, why in the world did they not trade Marcus Mariota for whatever they could get?
That's a big question, too. But I don't think any of the teams with injuries to quarterbacks were in any rush to acquire another one. Some of them are pretty much just chalking the year up to what it is, like Pittsburgh. They're pretty much going to ride it out, see what happens, considering they're not completely out of the division. Other teams have gotten good play from their backups, Cincinnati, Carolina, and New Orleans. So, yeah, you weren't going to have much movement as far as quarterbacks being traded, especially none of the big names out there in the market, even if teams desperately needed to upgrade at that position. For the Panthers, Cam Newton's pretty much, I'm not going to say it's an ideal situation because they're not leading the division. They're behind by 2 games of the Saints. But there's still no rush because in some regards, they're still like right there in the mix for a wild card spot, which they can easily get if they keep playing the way they've been playing prior to last week, shellacking to the Niners. Cam Newton's foot is still, rehabbing. They're not rushing him back in any way, shape, or form. Allen played horrible last week, but that's what the Niners defense does. It also wasn't his first bad game since he's been starting. Defense has carried this team, and defense needs to step it up and carry it some more. For the Panthers, though, Christian Miller is questionable along with Greg Little. And for the Titans, showing up on the injury report, Adoree Jackson and Chris Milton, cornerbacks, Delanie Walker is tight end, and Sharif Finch, linebacker, all on the injury report as well, listed as questionable. This game is in Tennessee, right?
Yes. Oh, wait, hold on. No, it's not. It's in Carolina.
Ooh. I could see Carolina pulling this out. I can't remember who I picked for this game. It's pretty much
Carolina
as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised who won or who lost. Going with the home team seemed like the best option here because right now both these teams are playing about even.
I'm going to throw a couple of teams at you for Marcus Mariota. And
okay.
One of them will be the Dolphins. We know the Dolphins are tanking for Tua. However,
that's what we know.
Well, I would say this, though.
Okay.
You have a lot more holes on that team that you're going to need to fill other than Tua. If you get Marcus Mariota, you can now trade for more capital and fill more of those holes.
Yeah, they also have an abundance of draft picks, and odds are they'll probably keep one of either Fitzpatrick or Rosen at the end of the season to be his backup. So there's no real need to acquire Mariota. Not to mention a lot of those picks that they acquired go up from like fourth to third round or third to second, depending on how the players they traded away perform for the rest of the season. So, yeah, they have a lot of holes, but they also have the draft capital.